friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to answer the most common questions that I have received about cloth diapering. So I am a mom of 5 and on my 5th journey of cloth diapering with my children. So I'm going to share all my top tips, brands, recommendation. I'm also going to show you my entire setup, routine, and how I make cloth diapering easy, manageable, achievable. The reason I started cloth diapering 12 years ago was, to be honest, was to save money. I also wanted to have control over what I was putting on my children's bums without paying $1 or 50 cents per diaper for some kind of a cotton organic. And so cloth diapering was a worthy investment from the way that I felt in looking into my options. So if that is where you have landed in this video, you're just curious about what is cloth diapering, what does it look like to manage it, maybe with multiple children, or if you're just starting out, what are some of the best brands that I have truly loved, used, abused, and have lasted through many children. This video will be helpful for you. If you're new to my channel, my name's Hannah. I am a homeschool mom of 5 children, and you will find a lot of that here on my channel. I also just share a lot of motherhood tips and natural living, and I would put cloth diapering definitely in that budget-friendly motherhood recommendation and a natural way for us to care for our children. If you are looking into cloth diapering, maybe the first thing you might be intimidated by is the amount of diaper options out there. Now, I will say when I first started cloth diapering 12 years ago, I don't think there was half as many, but I still did a lot of research like you have and trying to find maybe the best options. Now, for me, about 30 minutes from my home at the time, there was a mom that was selling the brand that I fell in love with, and she had kind of like a retail shop set up in her basement. So that was wonderful because I was able to have hands-on experience with these different brands to kind of see what I wanted and tried. And I also did a couple cloth diaper swaps with my first child. So I tried out different brands, and it was through my first child where I really found a rhythm, a system, and brands that I loved. And then I stuck with those through the next 4 children. Currently, I have an almost 5-month-old who is using these cloth diapers. And so I am coming from a place of, yes, this is totally doable. My first recommendation would be to stick to just a few types of diapers. So you have pocket diapers, all-in-one diapers, Prefolds, different materials. You have cotton, you have hemp, you have wool, you have all these different options. And I think one thing that becomes very overwhelming when you cloth diaper is if you have too many options. Pick a few things that you found that you like and then stick with that. So Prefolds are basically cotton material that's been compacted and laid layer after layer after layer, so they absorb really, really well. These are a newborn size, and the brand that I fell in love with 12 years ago was Ozy Cozy. Now, none of my products that I'm sharing today are sponsored. I did reach out to some brands, but one of the brands that I really love, but they're not doing any sort of discount codes at this time. So I did try for you, but most of these you can find on Amazon. And so I'll do my best to link them down below if you're interested. So these are the Ozy Cozy Prefolds. This is the newborn size. In fact, my child is just about to go up to the next size pretty soon because she's entering her thunder thigh season. But these go to about 6 months old, and I will show you definitely how we use these. But these are the Ozy Cozy Prefolds. I love Prefolds. I think they dry really fast in the dryer or on the laundry line. They work really well as far as absorbency goes. You get your couple hours in these cotton Prefolds, and so these are fantastic. There are some other Prefold brands, but I have liked these, and these specifically, these diapers are actually 12 years old. So you can just see they've cloth diapered 5 children, and they're barely fraying at the end. Minimal stains. So you can see here's one that wasn't hung on the line. I have found that if you hang them on the laundry line, which I don't always do, this was dried in the dryer this last time because it was raining outside, but if I do hang them on the line, they literally brighten completely up. You would never know. There's not a single yellow stain on them. I have a laundry line. I didn't for my firstborn, and I just had one of those like accordion laundry lines, and I would just hang them outside on that. So that's another option if you don't have access to like an actual laundry line. So if you have a pre-fold, you do have to have a way to clasp the diaper. And so these are snappies. This is all I've used for all 5 children. And it's very easy to use. In fact, I will have a demonstration, but you basically just fold it, and then you're going to snap this on. They're not crazy sharp, just in case you slip, but they will hold the cotton in place. And these come in like a 3-pack on Amazon, which I have purchased multiple times because somehow snappies are like socks and they just disappear. I don't even know where they even end up. But this is a snappy and it's wonderful. I think cloth diapering was probably a lot harder 100 years ago when you actually had to use pins. I'm glad I don't live in the world of pins. So now you have to have a cover. If you're going with a pre-fold, you have to have a cover. Now covers, I have tried many, many brands. In fact, I even tried another brand recently with this last baby because they were like $7 and they were being advertised on Instagram. And I thought, oh, those prints are so cute. So I went ahead and bought a 2, and they just do not compare to my all-time favorite brand. My favorite, absolute favorite, telling you, I've probably tried at least a half dozen, if not more, different covers, plastic covers. And this is the Thieves brand. You can order right on their website if you want. This was actually a company that I reached out to, and they did send me a swim diaper to try out, which I'm excited about, but no, they don't have any discount codes. But they're worth every single penny. They come in 2 different sizes. So the first size here will go up to 18 pounds. So if you're thinking, I just want to, cloth diaper while my baby is an infant, then you only really need size 1, because that's going to go up until 18 pounds, which is like 9 months at least for most children. So they have the 2 different sizes, and what they have are these different snaps. So you're able to change the size. So here my 5-month-old is on the 2nd snap based on these different snaps and clasps. Now, when you go on their website or you're on Amazon, they do have either these snaps or they have what's called like their Velcro here. Okay. Now the Velcro is convenient because it's really fast and easy, but I'll be completely honest, like this is one from 12 years old here. This one, I actually got some new colors because our church gifted us some baby shower money, and so I got myself a few new colors and prints just for the fun of it. But this one is 12 years old, and you can see that the Velcro, it does wear out. Where my snappies that are old, they are still lasting. Only other thing I did notice that after cloth diapering with this 5th children, some of the plastic was starting to leak, and that may have just been because I did sun dry them or just so many washes. We're talking a lot of washes, 5 kids, right? So I had to throw away just a couple of them, but I mean, for 5 kids, I feel like that was definitely a worthy investment. And so I got a couple more of these, but between the 2, if you're only gonna need them for like 2 kids, you could probably get away with the Velcro. But if you want these to last for like a lot of children, or you don't want to worry about once they start crawling or once they can grab like even their toes, once they're like a little bit older, they might even pull them off. So if you don't want to worry about that, I recommend the snappies. Yeah, maybe it's a little tiny bit more cumbersome to snap them, but I think between the 2, they're great. So if you think you're going to continue cloth diapering after 9 months, then you could get size 2. So this is a size 2, same thing. And these go all the way up to 40 pounds. So my children have all, except for my 4th kid, he didn't potty train till 3 years old. Everybody else potty trained either 2 years old or younger. And I think that cloth diapering helped with that because they were able to feel their wetness. So this would work as a training pant. It would really work until they're much, much older at 40 pounds. So this is it. This is the only size you need up until basically they're potty trained, which is fantastic. And you can also even use these at night if you need to during those toddler stages. These are the diaper covers that I recommend and the Prefolds. So if you get those things, you're set. But let's talk about how many do you need. So I recommend doing your laundry every 4 days or so. I'll show you my system here in a minute, my laundry system, how I keep things going. But to do that, you just need to think about how many diapers does my child usually go through. You know, an infant might go through like 6 to 8 diapers every single day. So you're going to need at least 2 dozen diapers and maybe some more. I like to have enough. I think I have 36 newborn diapers, and that's because I want to have enough where I don't have to worry about laundry. It was different when I had 1 kid, but with the 5th kid, you know, I might get the laundry going, get the first wash, the second wash, might get them dried, may not get folded to the next day. Listen, we all know how laundry goes with multiple children, and so I just make sure I have enough that I can continue to cloth diaper while I'm waiting to get the rest of my, you know, clean laundry done. Okay, so what are some other things you need to have a successful cloth diaper journey? Well, you're gonna need 2 of these wet bags where you're going to put your soiled diapers while they wait to be laundered, and that just helps keep moisture out. It also just helps keep any sort of scent or anything like that in the diaper pail. And then an optional thing as well is cloth wipes. Now you can purchase cloth wipes. In fact, these wipes I actually purchased 12 years ago. Can you believe it? And I believe these were actually Thirsty wipes, which I'll look and see if they still sell their own wipes, but I don't know if they do. But this is like a fleece. This one is, but these are the only wipes I actually purchased. But you can buy reusable wipes. The other wipes my mom made me, also a friend made me. So now I have a sewing machine now, so maybe at this point in my life I could learn how to make them. So if you have a little bit of sewing skills, you could probably make these yourself. But these are just a flannel wipe. So these my mom made me like 12 years ago. So these are just flannel. And then when I had this last baby that's 5 months old, I had a friend make me some more, and she made them just a little bit bigger. But again, just flannel, and then the edging is just stitched here. So I'm sure if you looked up on YouTube how to make like sew baby wipes or reusable cloths, you could probably find a really good thing. So I would recommend definitely flannel or like a fleece wipe. And I will share my diaper wipe solution that I make every couple days. I have another YouTube video that I made a while back, and I will definitely link that below if you're interested in making your own cloth diapers. You could do some made wipes, or some people just prefer the spray and wipe method as well. So that works just as fine. Keep a handy dandy spray bottle with some like coconut oil, you know, fractionated coconut oil in the water, lavender essential oil or something, and then you can just spray that on, wipe your baby's bum, and then put your reusable wipes in your diaper pail as well. I actually read that you save like $500 to $1,000 per child per year on wipes alone. And so if you think about all the things we use wipes for, it's like a very frugal thing to switch over to reusable cloth anyways. And then we can do that as women too, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother talk for a whole nother video. So before I show you our setup and what like cloth diapering will look like, I'm gonna share with you my laundry routine. I first started cloth diapering. There was just a lot of even like cloth diaper specific detergents, and I'm sure they're still out there 12 years later. So you can find like boosters and different things that are made specifically for cloth diapering, but I have found I do not need those. What I have found works really, really well, and this is what I've used for the last 3 children, is actually this laundry detergent. It's called Thieves, and it's a non-toxic plant-based detergent, but it does work on cloth diapers. So that's fantastic, because one of the reasons that I'm sure you're interested in cloth or wanting to switch to cloth was the same reason that I was doing it, and that was because I was trying to avoid harsh chemicals. Of course, if we're going to cloth diaper, then why would we want to use toxic cleaners or things like Tide, you know, and those kind of more harsher cleaners? It just doesn't make sense, right? Because then it's just going to pile up into the diapers that we're using and still be absorbed and go through the skin. So, you know, that's one thing I try to be conscious of. And if I can, share that with other friends. So we have found this one to be amazing. Buy other things from Young Living as well. But I have friends that just love this laundry soap. And so I will put a referral link down for this below. And I think if you spend $50, you can actually get 10% off. So give yourself a couple of these. But this one, all you need is like a tablespoon. It looks small, but it's mighty concentrated. So like a tablespoon of this is all you need for your laundry. And then what I like to do is, I'm a big DIYer. If you follow me over on Instagram, I DIY a lot of things and have a whole highlight of favorite DIYs. But this laundry boost I have been making for forever. It's equal parts. It kind of works like a softener, but it also just really helps get your laundry clean as well. So it's equal parts baking soda and Epsom salt. And then I use like any essential oil I feel like: citronella, lemongrass, lavender, lemon, whatever scent you really like. And so I'll put a scoop of that, which is about a quarter cup. My scoop here is an old reused scoop. About a quarter cup in the wash cycle. So let's talk about what is the cycle for cloth diapering? Because if you go on Google or ChatGPT or something and say, oh, what should be my laundry routine for cloth diapering, it's definitely a mixed. And I think it has to do somewhat with your water and your washer. So you're gonna have to find out what is cleaning your laundry the best. I will say this has worked really well. This was recommended to me from the mom that I shopped from in her basement 12 years ago, and it works well. So I do a cold cycle with no detergent, and that like rinses everything really good from my experience. Like if you're spot treating baby clothes and you rinse it out with cold water, or really any clothes, that's kind of the effect that I think it's having. So I do a cold wash. I'll put this down below. And then I do a hot wash rinse with my detergent and my laundry booster. So that's when you would add that. And I let that go. And then I'll do an extra rinse just to make sure that all of the product, because you don't want to have, it's not just like buildup of your soiled clothing. It's not really that. You also don't build up in your detergents or anything, so that after a while maybe they don't absorb as well, just because you have some buildup of product in there. And so I do an extra rinse. And then as far as drying the covers, I will hang dry. So if it's not like this beautiful sunny summer day and it's the dead of winter, then I will hang them on like just a drying rack that I have in our basement. Again, the accordion drying rack. And the rest of the diapers I'll just throw in the dryer and just make sure they dry really good. You want to make sure they dry really good. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than like your normal, light material, just because these are Prefolds and they're like layers and layers of material. So I do find to make sure they're really dry. That is it. You can choose to fold your diapers. I used to fold my diapers. Don't do that anymore. So I'll even show you my drawer. I just stack them. Come on, with 5 kids, I'm not trying to fold every single piece of laundry anymore. We are past that. We are definitely past that. I also want to mention, like, do you need to dunk the diapers? Older children, what does that look like to cloth diaper older children? So I'm going to show you my routine, but let me just mention this really quick. When you're exclusively breastfeeding, the poop really is like water soluble, and it literally just rinses out. It's so easy to cloth diaper when you are breastfeeding exclusively. And so that's why a lot of people will just cloth diaper while they're breastfeeding, and as soon as they start to incorporate solids, they might switch to diapers. You're still gonna save a lot of money even if you only cloth diaper for like 6 to 9 months, because it's the newborn stage where they go through so many diapers, right? But once they have started introducing solids, you may find that you still don't need to rinse for a while. Once you do, it's up to you. They have little attachments that you can put like on your shower or your toilet, where you can just hose it off. I am not like, poop phobia is not an issue over here. I think just too many kids. It's just poop. I can wash my hands, right, with soap and water. So if it's a bad soiled diaper, when they have solids, I will just dunk it in the toilet and then just kind of squeeze it out and throw it in my diaper pail. I will say that once they're not breastfeeding, it's not like they're pooping in every single diaper either. You're only going to get 1 or 2 or 3 per day that you have to actually dunk. So it's really not that big of a deal in my opinion. But they do have great gadgets that you can use if you would prefer just to like spray it off. But yeah, that's something you might have to deal with if you want to continue to cloth diaper throughout their older years, you know, once they start walking. And I'll add one more thing for older kids that I have used. I've just forgot about it because I'm not using that currently. So I have used these. I think they work great. You are paying, I think, like 6 cents per sheet. But when my kids moved up to more solid diapers, I would get these disposable bamboo sheets, which I'll post here. That does make it a whole lot easier. You won't have to like dunk any diapers. You'll literally be able to get this flushable little bamboo sheet. It catches like the poop, and you can just flush it in the toilet and then launder as usual. So I have purchased those. They're fantastic. If money's tight, then you're going to just have to dunk, you know, because you are going to pay a couple cents per bamboo sheet. Now, I've reused those. If they didn't poop in a diaper, I've reused it and put it into a second diaper. I think, which is fine to do like 2 or 3 times. So that's another option. Now I'm going to just really quickly show you my cloth diaper setup. This has been different for every single child. You know, my first 2 children, they were in their own room. And then as we had the other 3 kids, it was just easier for us to set up the baby station in our own bedroom just for nighttime and just the convenience of it. I just feel like it's easier for their first 6 months, like the bassinet here next to our bed, just having them here. And so I have just found that having the cloth diaper station in my own room has worked really, really well. And so I'm just going to show you what that looks like currently. And maybe this will give you an idea of what could maybe work for you as well. Everyone's situation is going to be different. For us, we have had this same diaper pail for all the children. I got it to like, you know, have a lid. And so you can see our cloth diapers are in here. This is a wet bag. So you want to have a wet bag in your hamper. So you can either use a hamper or you can just use a garbage bag like me. So this is our wipe situation. If you're putting it on wood, you definitely, I mean, this is an old beater thing, but you want to put it on something underneath. I will share my wipe solution down below. I will go through these in literally like 2 or 3 days. So I have no problem leaving these out. I've had no issues with mold or any sort of thing that some people might mention when you're leaving wipes out. But if you're not comfortable with that, then just spray. But we have no issues. I just keep it in this glass, use it up in a couple days, and I'm making more. And so for this 5th baby, our diapers are in the bottom drawer. And so I do not organize this. This is exactly what it looks like. It's a little bit of a hot mess. So these are the Prefolds. I took out some to show you guys. These are all my cloth wipes. These are disposables. We'll talk about that in a second here, and also a pack of wipes. We'll talk about that. And then these are all my like covers and whatnot. I just kind of stick here, and then I have my spare bag over here. So this is the situation. I don't even have a changing cover. I just keep this blanket in case there's a blowout off my, and then I can wash it, but we don't really ever have that issue. So I changed baby here, and then I put the soiled diaper in there and the wipes and grab a new diaper. So here is what I will say about cloth diapering, you know, children and how things might change. So my first 2 children, I was like a legalist about cloth diapering. I even took my cloth diapers on vacation. I did laundry at my in-laws' house like 4 hours away because I was that cloth diaper mom, and I was like not going to use disposables and blah, 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 blah. First 2 kids. 3rd, 4th, and 5th kid, I tell people that I keep disposables on hand for convenience and for on the go sometimes. When we went to church the other day, she was like in a cloth diaper when we went to church. And then, you know, once I had to change her, I put her in a disposable. So I do usually keep 1 pack of disposables handy. If I go on vacation, I use disposables. The tricky thing is you have to kind of time it with your laundry then. Because if you're going to go on vacation, you got to make sure all your laundry is done so you're not leaving diapers sitting. I did make that mistake once and had to toss a couple diapers because I had forgotten to wash them. So just keep that in mind, where if you're doing it 24/7 like my two girls, then you never have to worry about that because you're just hauling them with you. So I, of course, still want to use as natural as possible when it comes to like a disposable. If I need to use it for going out and I don't want to worry about bringing my wet bag. If you're going to do 100% cloth diapering, then you'll need a wet bag. I have one. I still love it. It's great and it's convenient. I'll post one that I have down below. But basically, it's a portable wet bag where you have a pocket for your wet diapers and then you have a pocket for your dry diapers. Otherwise, if you don't mind using some disposables, or if grandma or grandpa or you have a babysitter that you just don't want to have to deal with cloth diapers, then Pura is a great brand. I get these right on Amazon. If you guys can see that, here's a better Pura. And they're like all natural cotton, no chlorine, no bleach diapers. And so this is a size 3. And you just get like a pack of them on Amazon, and that will be really convenient. I think that everything doesn't have, like, you can do something and not have to do it 100% for it still to be beneficial, whether that's saving money or it's going, lower tox options. Like it's even our diet, right? It's 80-20. So don't feel overwhelmed with the idea of cloth diapering. You're not a failure if you use some disposables once in a while. That was the mindset I had with my first 2 kids, and thankfully that was a toxic mindset that I got out of. I think it's the same when it comes to like living in a low tox lifestyle, which we try to do here in our family, 80-20. And then of course, when we're eating, I can't get everything always home cooked meal. So there's sometimes you gotta have that potato chip, right? And so we can, I think, live a better lifestyle and make better choices without losing our sanity in the process. So these are a good brand. I would recommend those in terms of disposables. I think I have hopefully answered all cloth diapering questions that I could kind of consider. If you have more cloth diaper questions, please leave them down below. I'll do my very best to answer them so that if other people see this video and they have questions, they can look down below to see if someone has already asked that. I would say, as far as like, people have asked me about stripping diapers. I've only had to do that very, very rarely because we just don't have the buildup with our water. I have no issues. The Thieves laundry soap has been fantastic. So I've never really had to strip my diapers. But that is something you can do very easily. I've done it in my bathtub. You can do it if you have a top loader, you can do it that way. Very easy to do. I'll share a stripping recipe down below as well. If your baby gets like a diaper rash, can you put ointments and not ruin your cloth diapers? I use a diaper rash cream from Young Living. Have had no issues with that for, the last couple kids. But we don't really have a lot of diaper rash issues anyway. It's only if like they're starting to get on solid food and then like they eat something that's been irritating them, or they're teething or something like that, is when that might happen. So I think that hopefully is your questions answered for those that want to give cloth diapering a shot or a second shot, or you're just curious to see what that even looks like. Then hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed yet, I would love to see you subscribe below. I share a lot of different like homemaking, our homeschool journey, as well as a lot of on this channel, and anything that I think might be helpful for you in your motherhood. I try to take the time to share that and make a video on it. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.